So I think this would be 16 technically.
Yes, sir.
This would be 16 of blind spots at Bobby Bronze, at not Patrick Hughes on Instagram, on Twitter. It's another week, beautiful week. I guess this would make 4 months, so a third of the year. Happy and 4 month anniversary.
Oh shit!
Uh,
Damn.
so that's time goes like this, man. I don't know. I remember when I was younger, it felt like Christmas was so slow. And when I've gotten older, it feels like that shit won't slow down. Like we're already damn near in July.
Cue John Mayer. Stop this train.
Yeah, it moves so fast. And I'm like, and now like, and the ironic part is I can barely think a week ahead. Like I just, like my week this week consisted of locking down logistics for Atlanta. And so I'm thinking I got all this time to get ready for this Beyonce concert. And then I look up and she's almost done with her Europe tour. Like the
Yeah,
leg
shit
is
next month.
done. And so I'm like, oh shit, August 11th, I probably should start like locking this down. So Wednesday is my day off. So I spent today, hotel, flight, rental car. So those things got taken care of today as cheap as I could possibly do it. Alex is already talking about buying, like, how much does it cost to get a
Trying to
bag on
upgrade.
Spirit? Yeah,
Oh,
try to get it because so I'm like, what you need a bag? We literally go for 48 hours. What do you need a? But I already know she want to go crazy at the merch tent.
oh
So
yeah. And I seen that they
so
they they just dropped too. Ivy Park just dropped.
yeah, I'm guessing this is
Some new
gonna be their
shit.
last few collections before they cut it in
Was it Ivy
April.
Park? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they dropped the Adidas. Yeah, the stuff that she wore a couple nights ago, or I think it was about a week ago. Cause I when I saw it, I was like, that looked like Ivy Park. She almost had the nip slip
Oh, okay, yeah, that was that. It was that.
when the twin grabbed her and covered her up. That was Ivy Park shit. That's on the Adidas website right now. That whole joint, and with all the
10-year-old me
dancers.
was hot.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, yo, I appreciate it, but what did Dave Chappelle? You remember the first episode of Chappelle Show? The lady dancing in the eclipse. And he was waiting. So that was me. I was like, we about to get the craziest slip of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have went. That would have went. You know what's crazy? It's like if nobody would have picked it up, because somebody would have had the the super. Oh, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's like, well, what if nobody would have picked it up, or like TMZ wouldn't have picked it up, when like, all the blog sites wouldn't have picked it up, and
Yeah.
then
That would have been.
and then the salacious ones, the Daily Loud picks it up.
Now they legitimize, goddamn.
Oh yeah, forever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I felt about TMZ with that Michael Jackson shit.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember they
no,
was,
that's what's crazy. That's really the moment that it was like, I don't believe it until TMZ said
yeah, at that point, because they was mad early. And I was like, TMZ. TMZ was like, when you said TMZ, that felt like Wikipedia. Like, ugh.
it.
Like, you cite your
That's not
sources. You
that's
use
not a real
Wiki?
source. It's not
What
a
are you
real
talking?
source.
Why would you use that? And
Yeah,
then the news was coming out, and niggas was like, "Oh shit, they was right for real, early, like
right.
mad early." And that could have just been like they pulled up from 40. That could have really just been that. Like, look,
You
if it's
say you see
wrong,
you see what happened with Jason Lee tried to have
yeah,
his one moment when he announced, I
he
think,
pulled up with four. Yeah, was
the
the
Queen,
queen
I think.
dying or something? He was a
Yeah,
little early.
a little
He was
early. Yeah,
he was a
a
little
little
early, but see, he got that. He, which to be fair, I think Jason actually does decent work, but he still, I think in most people's eyes, just looked at as a blogger, and he's just like,
yeah,
play his fuck up. He could just kind of
yeah.
eat that. So yeah, but other than that, for my week, that was about it. Just tying up the loose ends and getting ready for a trip that apparently is in 6 weeks. So didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah, I have no idea what I did this week. I have no clue. I guess I didn't do anything. The only thing I can think of is Karina bought a game. My wife bought a new board game. She's into board games.
Ooh,
So
ooh.
we ran that back. It's actually super fun. So I've been like, hey, you trying to play? Like, So it's cool. Normally it's like not a competition. Like normally I like mop the floor. This one's like okay, I gotta
What is
actually.
something that she cares about?
Yeah. But like the worst part about them when she comes in with the new games, the worst part about the games is like just the explanation process. Like it's like trying to play Monopoly for the first time. It's always terrible because you just gotta like go through and try to figure out how to do it. And then also she's trying to grab content too. So it's like, but once we got into it, it was lit. But that's really it. That's crazy. I'm so washed. I'm like, whatever. Like, I got plans this weekend. Though. I got plans. This week. So,
Yeah, I don't know if I ever put it into the terms of being washed, but then I think about it and I'm like, there has been a time where every time I had a little bit of time off, I would go somewhere, like do
bruh,
these little micro vacations, and I'd just fly somewhere real quick and come back. And then now this year, I did go to New York.
yeah,
Um, so that, and then I'll do Atlanta, but that's another quick trip. But most of the time off I've had, I've just sat down and it was like, yeah, this is fine. I don't really get to spend a lot of time at the house with like zero responsibility.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Cause
like,
it's wild. Cause literally, like they're out of town next week. Um, so I'm all the thing I'm thinking about doing is like I'm like, oh shit, I might be able to like run some of these games that I have I bought that I never played because it's just like I don't got time because I'm like in between cooking and like trying to rush off the baby to bed and shit. Like it's like I don't ever have any time. So I'm like, oh, I actually get to like chill or
yeah,
like going to the gym is like a hard squeeze in. So now I gotta like what I'm saying. I'm trying to make sure I work out as much as I can at the house. But like I'm like, oh, I can go to the gym that week because I don't have to worry about like taking 2 hours out of my day to drop off my daughter, like my daughter at daycare or pick her up. Like it's like, oh, this is my time. I get at least 2 to 3 hours of my day back.
that's cool.
Just
That's super dope.
just having to worry about myself. Like this is so
And
awesome.
and then and those be the days where at least one of those days you'll just be like, you know what, this is not doing a whole lot today. Just gonna eat it, and then
Yeah.
you be productive as long as you obviously balance it out. Because I am good for like feeling anxious about some shit and just being like, I ain't doing this today. Like I ain't doing this because I
Yeah.
feel like those be the times you'll fuck it up, like trying to be extra, and it's like I didn't really have my heart in this. Now I got hurt, or I didn't really have my heart in this, and now
Yeah.
I fucked something up. It's like, man, I should have just put this down and
That's real.
walked away from it, and then
That's
come
real.
back. Yeah, that happens. It used to happen quite a bit, like throwing remotes, stupid shit like that, and then now you got to buy a new remote. It's like, man, I should have just stepped away from this game 2 hours ago.
I shouldn't even do this right now.
Yeah,
That's facts.
now it costs me money. So no, I would definitely love when you have that little bit of time. Actually, Alex, um, not this week, but I think the following week is she has a work trip in Atlanta, and she's gone the entire week. Well, at least the week, not the weekend. She'll be back, I think, Friday at afternoon.
Yeah.
And I almost thought about taking a day off, and then I was like, well, I mean, I guess I don't have to. I'll still work my regular time, but obviously, this is not a baby. But you know, wives require their own amount of
No, that's
time.
so,
Yeah,
1,000%.
yeah. Um, so with her not there, it'll be like, yeah, I'll miss you when you're gone, but you know, it's a week that I don't have to. I literally have to worry about myself. I don't even know what that's like buying for one anymore.
Bro.
Like, yeah, so like when I buy on Uber, like I'm like, oh, I got to reach $25 before. It's like, oh, that's two people. That's easy. Now it's like, oh, I'm gonna be under the threshold. I guess I'll go drive and get
Let
it.
me go get
Yeah,
it.
or I buy it for tomorrow, today, and now I got Monday and Tuesday, right there. Yeah, I don't even know what buying for one looks like, feels like anymore.
But see, that's another thing I like. I kind of like do just so I can like kind of maximize the amount of time I have to myself is like when I cook because I usually cook for everybody, cook dinner for everybody. So I usually just add a little extra just for myself for the next day, or
Of course.
like take care of like honeys for the next day or something like that. Whether because I usually try to cook something different every day, so like niggas not get. So I don't run into that Chris Rock. I think I love my wife. Like every day is chicken. Try some
Yeah,
fucking duck. Like try
yeah.
my best to like switch it up. But every night, so I can save my time. It's like, okay, somebody finna eat the same thing. Somebody eat leftovers. So I
Oh
usually
yeah,
take the L and eat the leftovers. But that
yeah.
saved me
I
like, you know what I'm
was
saying?
gonna
That saved me
say
like 20, 30
it's
minutes.
it's hard to find recipes for two, anyways. Like
Bruh.
most of them are for four, so you either cutting it in half or having leftovers. Because I have the same, obviously the same issue, where it's like, all right, I actually do like a little bit of leftovers for the next day, and Alex loves leftovers. Not to say that, obviously, like cooking every day, that
Yeah.
that's
Bro, that
would
shit
be
is
ideal.
daunting. That shit is,
Yeah,
nah,
it would
hell
be
no.
ideal. We used to do what's this shit called Blue Apron a long time ago, and
I
that
remember you
was
telling, I remember you telling me about that.
yeah, that was one where it made it cool because they never repeat meals, but to do one every day would be a lot. But a lot of times it would be like serving a three-ish. So then at
Yeah.
least when she goes to work, because she used to work nights,
Somebody can take lunch.
she could take it. And then I work from home, so I'm like, take it. And now she works from home, so she just texts me from downstairs or something and like, yo, what do you want to do food wise? So yeah, and then obviously the Atlanta trip, we got to obviously coordinate with you guys. 'Cause I was just talking to her. Our flight comes in early Friday. My
It's
uncle lives there,
13th,
11th through the 13th.
up to 13th. Okay.
So 13th is we're flying back for the most part. But I was
Okay.
like, all right, my my uncle who lives there, I think he's retired, so it don't matter. It could be early, it could be late. You guys were talking about either before the concert or after. So that's obviously Saturday, and then she has a cousin. So then we'll do maybe Saturday morning with her or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm trying to think it all out in my head. I'll text my uncle a little bit and figure it out so I know exactly how to
Hey,
move
I'm gonna
and
go
do this
ahead.
the most efficiently.
Go ahead and put. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the calendar right now. Put that on the calendar
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
that'll be the
Hit,
12th because I think
hit,
that's the day the concert is.
yeah, and hit up her mom's to watch the little one.
Yeah.
Get that all arranged right now.
Do
Actually,
do you guys share calendars in the
yeah.
phone? Yeah,
We just started. We have been talking about it for a minute, but we just started because it's like we need to actually kind of streamline this.
man. I literally use that bitch for like it got different colors so that it's got so you can know how to organize it and
Yeah.
everything. Because like, and so ours is green, and it's just the house number 2612. So when she's got a an invitation to something or a hosting or something, she just drop it in there, tell me, yo, we got this thing, whatever, and then it makes it so much easier. And then when you this I guess this is a little hack for y'all. 'Cause I'll be giving y'all the shit. When you buy a flight, you get an email from it. It almost instantly will pop up in your calendar.
Mm,
So then you just put it in there. It accounts for time change too. So if you're on the West Coast, it'll like if it's like our flight back from LA. Oh, that's right. I did do LA too. Duh. And so the flight back from LA, it automatically had the number changed for the fact that it's on the Pacific coast. So yeah, that's all something that's pretty cool too. You can check your flight. You click on the flight number in there. It'll show like the trail of the flight on Apple's little flight tracker. Right, so
amazing.
yeah, a lot of dope shit. But anyways, uh,
Let's get to
let's
it.
see.
Let's
What
get to
uh,
it.
what do you want to start? See,
Man, we can start with the rah rah, man. Start with the rah rah. Give them something to talk about. Let's go Yim Yons,
okay,
and push.
gotcha. Okay, so as of today, Wednesday, there's been no response from Push. Maybe he's too busy. Pretty sure he's a busy guy. He's a dad.
Busy guy.
Uh, he did post. It was thanking his friend Paris. He's been he's been overseas for quite a bit because he's been doing festivals. So maybe. Uh,
Maybe
we kind of talked about it on Twitter a little bit.
we had
A
a
few days,
disagreement.
yeah, a little bit on a few days ago. I guess my point for people who didn't see on Twitter, my point was that if we are judging raps, because a lot of people it was casuals. I'm not even really addressing those guys. But for judging raps, I think that people expected that Jim was going to roll over, and I think a lot of people haven't listened to Jim rap in the last 5 years. He's probably at this point, and this is Robert's hot take, that he's probably at this point the best rapper at a Dipset, and there's a couple really really nice ones there. He was the shooter before. He didn't really do a lot of rapping. Now he's been kind of rapping his ass off, and I don't think people thought that he would even care to rap. And he returned fire in a day.
quickly.
And I don't think people thought he would rap. I don't think Push thought he would necessarily rap. Maybe he did. Maybe he doesn't play with his food. But I just was basically like, look, we got a couple bars from Jim or from Push. Not his fault. Obviously, it's P's fault. But he got a couple bars from that. We got a whole rap from Jim. If we're just going off what we got, it's only 1-0. It's got to be 1-0 Jim,
It's
whether or not
somebody
he's a
gave
better
you a
rapper.
snack versus somebody gave you the whole meal.
Yeah, unless of course, which I'll concede to this. If you guys believe that those two bars were that scathing that it beat 3 minutes of rapping, hey, that's it. I may say that you are consuming a part of a body part, but we don't really use those phrases too much anymore just because that shouldn't be an insult. However, I'm not changed fully. I may say that that's what you're engaging in. However, you know, I think objectively
Big
speaking,
brother, should have got nothing
yeah,
to do with rap.
objectively speaking, it has to be Jim 1-0 just because he rapped so well and it was actually a full rap and Push didn't, unfortunately.
Okay, so for that, I can't argue with your logic, right?
With the logic,
I have a problem with the logic, right? Somebody give you a couple bars, somebody give you a song, or somebody give you like a full song, full out rapping. It was good raps. You know what I'm saying?
good raps.
I ain't gonna clown him or take that away from him. He rapped well. He did his job. It's a formidable response. I just like my rubric is different.
Yeah,
My rubric is based on I need it. It's like playing the dozens. Like so, it's like either it's gonna be true or it's gonna be funny. Like those is really my only
fair.
that's my only criteria. Like you either gonna make me laugh with the how ridiculous the shit you're saying is, or you about to say some shit that's like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So like, and of course it's like it's hard to judge rap beefs because you don't want to like lean into the like the worser demons of our culture,
What it
right?
could
Like
be.
yeah,
Let's
you
just
know
keep it for sport if we can.
exactly, and that's one of the issues with the Jim shit already because Jim is already like he flirting with that out like nigga like shoot your like
I
it's like
dare you. I dare you. I dare you to say the wrong thing because then you're gonna have to see me.
and it's like well that takes all the fun out of it because it's like I'm not trying to who's gonna die over this? It's Jim Jones. Like I'm
Yeah,
not like it's not worth it.
I'll be completely honest. That because I'm guessing you're alluding to him on calling the Joe
Yeah,
show.
when he called into Joe, and even
Yeah,
with the lyric, I know like it's like because he had alluded to it. Certain things, you know, is just bars, but I just don't consider them bars when you actually like try to make it seem like you decide to do it.
yeah.
So even when he did the only beef you know is what Big Macs and Arby's, we actually got Max and like it's like you gonna shoot him because he says he was like
Well, the only pushback I have there is that Push is really mean when he raps.
it's amazing.
He's very and look, I love it. Like obviously, like I don't make any qualms about my obsession with Drake. Like how I'm a huge fan,
Yeah,
maybe even stand to a point. But it's like when niggas just embrace being villains, like that first year LeBron in Miami, it's like this is a really nice guy. He's calling motherfuckers broke boys. He is in an arena booing at him. Like I love that shit.
yeah,
So when Push told Drake that 40 was gonna die,
amazing.
it was like that's rough.
At
But
that point, niggas
I
have license to threaten to kill you.
I really, really love just being like, because I feel like ain't no such thing as a fair fight. You better hope that your skeletons is right, because if I find it, I'm absolutely saying it,
And that
and
was the
I
and that
respect you for going that far.
and that's where I'm looking at, and that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking at my beats. I want messiness. I want somebody to find a
That's
skeleton
why I'm okay with
and
the
put it
match
on
though,
Front Street. So I'm
even
like,
though he kind of seems like a guy that might. But then, does that mean that we feel like Push is not as nice? He's just mean when he raps.
well, the only reason I would say that he is that nice is just because of his body of work.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? And even in his body of work, he's still an asshole. Like that whole you and your bitch income combining like that.
I fly your bitch out to Cuba, and I don't even go. I'm just gonna show you what you should have done.
The last album was rough. I'm gonna tell you, I got
Yeah,
PTSD from that shit. I'm like, damn, like
yeah,
what about the middle class? Like,
yeah.
what
He
about
he told he
what,
told them to tuck their Hellcats. That's an $80,000 car, but they just drive Ferraris. Him and Steven Victor are
I drive a
in
Kia
Ferraris.
Sportage. Like I got a Kia. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what's going
A
on.
very respectable car, by the way, guys. The
I'm
Kia
thinking, I like,
Sportages are.
I'm thinking I'm doing all right. You know, I just got a nice little thing. I should have got the Telluride. Looking back on it, but you know, I'm out here trying to make decisions for the family and shit. You and your bitch income combined. I think about it all the time. You and your bitch income combined. I'm like, damn, am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it wrong? So yeah, he's absolutely an asshole, but he's the best kind. And I just, because even on Joe Budden's, Jim was like, "Oh, I ain't doing all of that digging up dirt and trying to." It's like that's what I want you to do. Find something about, and that's the thing. If Malice actually was Malice on the rock?
I have no idea, but I'm guessing if he said that, that there must be something to it.
You know, like it's like that's the only thing I'm really thinking about because I'm like, remember when that specific line about only beef you know is McDonald's and Arby's. I'm like, see, if you'd have left it at Arby's, I'd have been like, you gotta got you there because the
But
Arby's
he
shit was
wrote for
whack.
McDonald's too,
The
and that
Ar-
went into his
but the
Mac line.
but the Mac shit was good. He made ba 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 ba.
Listen, some will say
That was an international slogan.
some will say that reality TV is not an L. That's providing for your family.
But well, and that's the thing too. It's also because
But
that's
people are
true.
definitely going to target if I don't know if Push said it in the bars, but if he didn't say it in the bars, he absolutely is going to say it in some bars.
It's like people think that because that's like the Las Vegas residency. Before we had these string of artists, doing Las Vegas residencies that are
We thought it
respectable.
was corny.
Yeah, it's like nigga on Vegas. Oh, he whacked, he washed. It's over with. That's the end of it.
It's an end,
Yeah. So in the hip hop community, you go on reality. That's that's the Vegas. That's the Vegas residency.
but it's
Um,
changing now.
it has changed, and I think some of that has to do with Cardi B. Um,
But here's the crazy thing: the pioneer, ironically enough,
Flavor Flav. Who we talking about?
Jim Jones. He was on the first ever season of Love and Hip Hop.
What's
He kind of started this shit. Him and Chrissy.
and that's and he got too much business out. He got too much. He got too much. He got too much material to pull from. And that's the thing. Push just sitting there with his reading glasses on, just going through clips. That's why he taking so going through clips. Oh, that's why he taking so long. That's why he taking so long. You know what I'm saying? He just doing his research right now. He taking notes, going through.
So what do we say about Push shooting? Do we well if this is considered a shot? Because obviously he wrote it, obviously he rapped it. He didn't put it out.
Yeah, if he doesn't respond, then Jim Jones get the dub.
Yeah. And so
I don't know
the
what it
only thing
does.
for me objectively is that I think people look at this as Jim punching up his weight class, but
Absolutely.
also won't admit that look, Jim fired back dumb fast. We on day 2 or 3 and we haven't heard shit back from Push. And
Well,
he's acting like nothing happened.
but Push took a long time to say something in the first place.
But he didn't rap though. He just was talking.
But that's what I'm
If Jim
saying.
had rap, if Jim had rap, and then it took him a long time, then that'd be different.
You shouldn't have talked.
Officially,
But I'm saying, you
officially
should.
this, officially this is the first. To me, this Jim talked, but Push is
But
the first
all the
blow.
beefs have a thing. Like you can't
But
say
if
Push started it.
yeah, you're right. But if Jim didn't respond in 3 days, then niggas would already been telling Jim to wave the white flag.
That's facts. But I'm saying,
So,
but because Jim is absolutely punching up, like
but to
like
be
Push,
fair, now he's not punching up. There's
it's
right here.
it's no hell no.
If Push ain't respond,
I
we can only go off what's out there. Put the record out.
I don't think the thing is, to me it's kind of like, and this is literally no disrespect to the people I'm about to name or Jim Jones. Push don't really have to make a. It's kind of beneath Push to make a diss record to Jim.
He
I
did it
want him
already.
to. I
But he did
will.
it already.
All he did was say the bars.
Yeah, but you can't
I'm
do that
saying
and expect nobody to.
if he continue, like I would be okay with it if he continues to send subs in the same fashion, and that's why I say no disrespect to the two people I'm about to mention, but Drake went at, because Drake is happy for everybody. Drake went at Common, and
Yeah,
Drake had that thing with Ludacris for a little bit.
and then
Ludacris
Common gave him a whole record.
gave him a whole record, but Common didn't win, but because the bullshit that he said on, what was the song?
I remember
Shit, Stay
the
Scheming.
real hit, yeah. But then he gave him a verse, and it was probably of Drake verses.
But then
That's what at the top five Drake verse.
And then you got I don't know what he responded to Ludacris, if he responded at all, but Ludacris was another that gave him a whole song and it went like nobody knew about it, but
But wait, he dissed Ludacris, or was that when he said she told him to turn it off to listen to Ludacris?
it was no, it was on some like they were mad because he was some shot came because he was like, "Oh, you taking my flow" type shit. And it was like Ludacris
Drake
was like,
said
"That's
Ludacris said Drake took his flow.
yeah." No, Drake said Ludacris took his flow,
Oh,
and like
was it
basically he
was
was
like
like,
when they were doing like the pound side raps?
yeah, you know that like what was that song? Even if you look at it like the song that he did with Nicki Minaj, where he was like, "I fill her up, balloon," when they were just like,
Everybody was doing pound sign raps because I think Big Sean thinks he started it, which he called it the super duper flow, and Drake thinks he started it, and then Nicki Minaj really did it a lot. When it sticks
it's
out the most in my head, Nicki doing it personally.
because she still does it, and it's like, and
Also, I think Ace Hood did it a lot
it
too.
might be making its way back around at this point,
Oh God,
but it's like the triplets though, like you let Migos tell it, they started the shit. It's like
yeah. But I think they'll even say like Gangsta Boo and 3 6. They
maybe
kind of
now,
okay, yeah, okay, fair,
but
fair,
that's the
fair.
thing. It's like I don't know if Push has to actually mention him by name or like do a whole like the same shit that he had for Drake. Because in that scenario, he was the one
Drake,
punching up at
yeah,
Drake.
yeah, yeah. And Drake actually was like going, like, he rapped
He
to
was
him.
and he was trying to keep up.
Yeah,
I mean, nigga tell you that you hiding a child, like you are hiding, like and have you with blackface. It was too much.
no,
But
it's a lot.
Push
Yeah,
is petty, so he may. The only thing is, it's like one of those things where it's like, if it's politics, your campaign is telling you just leave it alone. Like, just
yeah.
but Push is petty. So I'm assuming he gonna respond back. If he don't, it's an L for him. It's an L on the record. But
But he don't care about that. It's whatever. He's got bigger things to do. I
yeah,
guess.
it's
I
good
guess
for
the only
sport. It's good for the sport though.
it's amazing for sport. The only thing I'll have, and I'm talking directly to Pusha T Twitter. Pusha T Twitter. So if you guys are listening, Pusha T Twitter, listen, guys, listen. We don't give a fuck about where he rapped it at. We don't give a fuck that it was on that bridge in Paris.
Good
We don't
buddy.
give a fuck. We don't give a fuck that he rapped in a bodega. We care about raps, guys. Are they rapping? If they're not rapping, get all that. And I'm trying to figure out. And look, I
Hey,
love Push for a lot of fashion reasons and music reasons. And the last few albums have been ridiculously great. Not the last few, but like I think about those specifically. He raps at a all time level, obviously. But like I can't tell if he's got fans that don't listen to Pusha T's music or just hate Jim Jones, because like I think even Push would tell you, bro, we don't give a fuck about that music being played in Paris. we care about rapping. Like Push is like he feels like KD. Like KD's a
Mm,
the Hooper's Hooper. Like everyone's like, this guy works so hard.
mm.
All he cares about is hoop. And Pusha T's like, he's good at everything. He only cares about rap. Obviously, he cares about fashion, but it's like that's his buddy. So he's there supporting his guy. But it's like, bro, let's rap. And all these people talking about,
But
yo, it's levels. It's
I
like,
think the
nigga,
thing, but
levels what?
it's like so the people that care about it's two sides of the same coin. The people that care that it was at fashion, we parent like the LV show, the same people that care about it was at the bodega. But it's like the people that care about the LV show is like, you also like in my conspiracy brother Kofi, y'all care about the white band opinion so much. Y'all out here see in and with my same Kofi on, y'all worried about the approval of like why you worried about being able to be in the hood where niggas is trapping and killing
When
each
you're
other and
rich.
it's
Yeah.
why are you there outside of handing out turkeys, starting programs? Why are you out in front of these people who I guess you might you
I have one pushback for that. That the platform that he was on, that's kind of what they do.
that's what they do. Okay.
Yeah, so that's like if it was like how like colors do their shit in a room, like
It's
that.
goofy. It's goofy
Yeah,
people.
the off the block thing, like they do it in the middle of somebody's projects or they do it in the middle of the hood, like and they do the little microphone thing. That's kind of
But and
their thing. But
and then
but
if
but understandably at
the
the
hip
end of
hop
the day,
purists in me don't have a problem with it because one of my
no, not at
favorite
all.
songs is The Corner. You know, I don't have a problem with either one of them, but it is kind of foolish to base your argument off of that.
Yeah, where it's at.
Like if Push was to come out and be like, what are we talking about? We're in Paris." I would love it. I would love it. I would. But it ain't got nothing to do with what we're talking about. and if like, because realistically, even when Jim was on Joe Buttons, it was like, what did he say? Who gonna spin the block for him? He can't do this. He can't go where I can go. And it was like, but
But I can go everywhere he can go.
who really wants to go where you're at?
I have a question for you. I have a question for you because this is part of where I feel on it too.
uh,
I almost feel like, and this wasn't like done intentionally. I almost feel, and this, for lack of a better word, like empathy for Push because Push, like, as being a fan, like I kind of know what Push has been doing the last month, and
yeah,
he's been getting that festival money. So, like, granted, I do feel like if he cared enough, he would have found a studio to go to or record on a plane or some baller shit. But
yeah.
then again, it's like, all right, Pharrell put this shit out. He was hype. I knew he was putting it out, but it was probably not done. And now I can't really bomb back the way I would want to because I am actually busy. I know it sounds like I'm copping please, but I am actually busy.
Hey man,
I haven't been home in 2 months. So then it's like, all right,
it's
should
all
I should I shoot Push Bail because he didn't put this out? This was a Pharrell decision. Yeah, I don't mind it. Like I'm like, all right, if he was sitting at home and didn't have things to do like Jim, where Jim just didn't go to Paris and he wasn't performing with Dipset, and
yeah.
he's like, oh, I got time. All I'm doing these days is rapping. So I was able to leave after hearing that. I was in the car when I said, not a top 50 verse. I was heading to the studio when I said that. So like he's got actual time to do this where it's
That's
like,
facts.
all right. Now if Push greenlit it, I was like, fuck it. He ain't gonna rap back. And then he rap back, and then it's like, all right, nigga, you gotta show me the video of you recording on the airplane. Cause then you win. If you got a booth set up next to the pilots and you're rapping, you win. All right, you wanna talk about venues? He rapped this 52,000 miles up in the air,
But then
overseas.
Jim gonna be like, "Oh, why you thinking about me on a PJ? Why you thinking about another man on a
Fair,
PJ?" Yo,
which is also fair. This is fair.
he's a
Even though then
he's
when
a
I heard that, I
niggas
was
nigga,
like,
boy.
when I heard that, I was like, part of me is like, yeah, fair point. But then I was like, man, this was a Pharrell decision. Push just walked in the show. He didn't
Cut it
greenlight
out.
the shit.
Cut it out. Why you thinking about me while you walking in a fashion show? It's like, oh my god, love it, love it
Yeah,
all, love it all.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
hurt each
At
other,
the end of the
guys.
day, it's all hip hop, and let's keep it rap. Yeah, these guys are generally nice guys. their homes are 2 hours away from each other. They both wear braids. They're practically
Two niggas,
kindred spirits.
light
So
skin, dark skin, with
yeah,
braids, got a light skin. Rapper
come
look
on.
like Michael Jackson.
The
Uh,
DMV in New York City are literally, I think it's a 4 hour drive.
they'll be
Like
all right.
y'all close.
It's
Y'all close.
just
That's
it's
like me going
sport,
to Miami.
but yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go with one next. I choose the next one, and this is super light. But so I just added this today, and it was more people announcing suspensions when we could just get the suspensions. But apparently, it's a bunch of NFL niggas betting on their football games,
Mm,
and I think this is the most fascinating thing I've ever heard. Like maybe a part of me just wants to believe that there's some type of integrity in sports. I absolutely hate and rail against people who say that the games are rigged. Like
right.
like I think a lot of times they're rigged by different forces. Like they think like the NBA will rig a game to go seven series when it's like the NBA got their money from ABC. So ABC wants it to go 7 games.
Right.
NBA is going to get paid whether it goes 4 games or it goes seven. They get the same amount. It's not extra. So, and it would be so many moving parts to successfully rig something.
That's
Like
facts.
this.
To keep
So
it
I
quiet.
always, I always rail against that. However, a nigga lost $8 million last year playing football. Actually playing football, lost 8 million on sports gambling.
That's Calvin Ridley.
They didn't say the name,
Oh, okay.
but I don't think it was him because they said it. I think his bets was like 1,500, like
Oh, it's just a
inconsequential.
random. I thought you meant like somebody lost their
Yeah.
contract or some shit.
Oh no! It literally there was a headline: player lost $8 million in 2022 on sports gambling, and I'm
Jesus.
like, oh, they probably shifting lines and everything. Like, what would stop a degenerate from betting on their own shit? Seriously.
It, yeah, that's crazy.
Like, and then I started thinking, I was like, are we sure Michael Jordan never really betted on himself? Like, what we know
No,
about Mike?
absolutely not. He
What
would.
we
He's
know
just
about Mike,
yeah. This is what everybody's talking about when they bring him up in comparison to John. Is like if MJ was in today's time, he might not even made it because the nigga he would have got suspended around some gambling and shit.
bruh. I believe
Everything's on
if
Front Street.
I believe that Mike would have like other niggas is easy to just bet against themselves. I guarantee you, Mike was just betting on himself. I put 1 million on me to score 50, and who's gonna stop me? If I
Jesus.
want to go get 50, I'm gonna get 50. They said this nigga was playing 18 holes of golf, drinking mad beers, and bet that somebody there that he was gonna give him 55.
Yeah, he was
Michael
definitely
Jordan,
he definitely
did you ever
yeah.
hear the story about Michael Jordan with betting Scotty before the game every game?
Nah.
So at the Bulls game, I'm gonna keep this short. Bulls game, they have 41 home games, obviously 82 game season.
Right.
And every night they would be before they have shoot around, they'd be looking up at in the United Center, and there would be like a chasing of the Bulls game, and you have to pick who wins, right?
Yeah.
And so they would be in a timeout, and they would be like, "Oh, I'll bet like I think it was like 1,000 or some shit." That's light, you know what I'm saying? And every game, Mike won. Every single one, Mike chose the right bull before,
And
right?
that
This is how nasty Mike is. He was getting to the stadium early, talking to the video people every game to be like, all right, which one's winning today? He's like, oh, this one. And he would bet Scotty a sucker bet and got like 40 grand out of Scotty every game, the whole year because he knew it already.
this nigga is sick, bro.
He's the sickest nigga I've ever met in my
Knowing
life.
that
They think Kobe's sick. He's the sickest guy. He's even sicker than Kobe.
and then like I know why Scotty hate him now.
Yeah,
every time you hear a story about Jordan and Scotty, you completely understand why this nigga hate him now.
yeah. What do we really think? Like, I don't want to believe it. Do we really think he ain't sent his son to go beat on his wife? Like, seriously? Like,
Like hearing the story like you
it's
just
not
told right
beneath
now.
him.
Hearing the story
It's
like you
not
just told
beneath
right
him
now, it's absolutely not beneath. It's within the realm
at
of
all.
like he would definitely do
Oh,
that
she
shit.
kind of feeling me a little bit, pops. Word. Listen,
Hey,
I know you be liking the backdoor shit. You don't really need that bread. Just go, you know what I'm saying? I got you. I got you. I got you. Just make this shit work. Start a podcast with
Start
her.
a podcast.
Start a fucking. He can't escape that, right? Get a deal with Spotify. I'll make some calls.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to them.
the
But
only thing
yeah,
he's got is like, oh, my kids is halfway in the league.
yeah,
Yours didn't sniff it.
yeah. It's rough. Sports gambling. It's once it's got opened up. Do you parlay? Do you do all this?
No,
Do you in,
I look at it every now and then, but I don't. I try not to
niggas
play
be
with my
getting too
money.
much money on there. I'll be like, man, I know I could do this shit, and I'll be
And
like, man, fuck that.
but I hate it though. One of the reasons that not the reason I don't participate with one, but I don't like to look at it because I don't like that whole like niggas be like, oh well, Vegas has them picked to be like. It's like I don't give a fuck what Vegas is like. I don't. That's not an argument for me. Like, it's not like an actual thing. If we're talking about sports or a thing, like have a sports reason why you feel the way you feel. Don't have a Vegas reason why you feel the way you
That's a motherfucker that don't watch sports. They're like, the line, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'd be like,
feel.
bro,
Yeah,
shut up.
I don't like that.
Yeah. I like it when niggas get like down to like the little small factors though. Like, oh, it's a cold front coming in, the
I
record
like
of
that
this
shit.
quarterback
I like that
with this weather
because
and
that's just
out
data.
of a dome. Yeah. Or
That's just
oh,
the
these refs are
hyper
tonight.
advanced stats.
Yo, niggas was when Scott Foster was like they'll see Scott Foster ref in the game that Chris Paul is in, they like bet the under. Bet the under. I bet the under. I'm telling you, slam the under. This a lot, bro. Put the house on.
That's
They're
crazy.
going to lose. And I'm like, okay, I like that. I like when y'all niggas put
Yeah,
y'all minds to some real shit. If we could just, you feel me, just get it on something that little bit like. But I mean, look, niggas be getting paid. I know some niggas that be putting them wilt numbers on that
amazing.
shit. Yeah. So yeah. Isaiah Rogers was in the picture. I think he's from Tampa, so that's unfortunate. So shout out to Tampa,
Well,
the
it's
land
like
of
one
the
of the things is
scammers.
I don't know what you should be able to do or shouldn't be able to do. I just
Yeah,
know if they already made a rule about it,
stay away from it.
yeah, like you signed on, you agreed to the terms and conditions. Those are the terms and conditions.
Yeah. All right. So now there's some more funny ones. There's some a little bit more serious. Uh, would you like to go with this next?
Um, let's hit the shit growing apart the marriage.
That's a good one. So I guess I'll introduce it. I saw you actually post or tweet about it. You wrote something pretty lengthy, and I like when you do that because I think some people gotta see that shit, and usually Twitter is just pretty surface level. But I
Yeah,
guess the woman was saying that she was successful in business at her 40th birthday, and she was just kind of recapping some things that she would do different in her 30s and her 20s. And the very first thing, quick cut, I wouldn't get married. And when you quick cut into that as a person who just got married, or I
mm,
guess it was almost a year now, you're like, oh, a little taken aback, like, oh shit. But before I start tripping, I'll listen to her.
right.
And she said, uh, essentially, that she grew apart. Like she was trending in one way, uh, he wasn't quite trending in the same way, maybe a little bit slower. And oh, go ahead.
Well, I like, and I don't mean to cut you off. But that's kind of like that's where I feel like the issue with what she said is at.
Yeah,
If there was an issue to really take, it's just that she didn't provide any context because in her video she's talking about the thing you just said of just like okay she hit 40 she's just recapping her life and she's thinking about things she would have did differently, and marriage was on the list, but like you said she's trending up. She never said whether her husband like was trending with
where
her.
he was trending? Yeah.
She never gave
Okay, so she didn't even say that.
any
So my
bearing
bad. Yeah.
on and I think that's kind of where the issue is. She said that she went to business school, she started her business, and then the person that she was growing into or the person that she saw herself becoming, he
Wasn't with him.
he wasn't in there. He wasn't in the
Yeah.
picture for that. So it's kind of hard for me to make a true assessment on like how I really feel about it for real. Because
What
it's
was your
just like,
response on Twitter? What?
well, I honestly don't remember. I don't remember. I remember I retweeted some stuff, but I think if anything, I don't remember.
Okay.
You'd be out there like, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's kind of, I understand that plight. Like I get it, you know. I think that people do grow apart, and people do. Uh, you're not the same person that you were at 24, at 29, at 30. Like you're not the same person. Like granted, I still laugh at some of the same shit. But in no way, I'm much more like politically involved. I read, um, shit. I'm thinking of like things because I have a daughter now. I have a wife. I have like things to look forward to. Um, in no way am I the same person that I was at 25 or or even 28. Um, because marriage has made me grow so much. But I think it's kind of like it's tricky because you want people to be able to have their freedoms, and you want people to not stick with you just because, right? Like in a marriage, to me, I wouldn't want somebody just to stay with me just because they feel like they have an obligation to. Like I want you to stay with me because you want to,
Yeah.
but I would want you in your growth to bring me along for the journey, um, or understand that my role is a different role. You know what I'm saying? Or that figure out how I can still be of service, you know, in with you wherever you're going next. Because she never like, and that's the thing where it gets tough at was because she didn't provide that context as to like, okay, I tried to talk to him and he wouldn't do this. I tried to do
Yeah.
this and he was like, you know what I'm saying? Because stuff like that is okay. Well, he wasn't being a good partner, or you know what I'm saying. So I don't want to like jump on the bandwagon of like, cause I seen niggas add so much to it and being like, oh well, he probably paid for the school and supported
Yeah.
you or held you down and do all, and it's like we ain't gotta do like she didn't add none of that, so I'm not adding none of that. I just know on his face it just seems kind of off because the only thing you said was I grew and I
And you know
elevated.
what? That's where I honestly took it, but I would go in a little bit further, where I'm saying I don't think it was much there because if it was context there, like not to go too crazy, but like he cheated or something, or he put his hands on her, like that to me would be something you would lead with. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so to me, it's like so. Hmm, so I'm not the biggest religious person, but like it does make sense to me. Like, all right, like you said, I don't want people to stay just for the sake of staying. But I also think that you don't just get married because it was the sake of
Bingo.
being married.
Bingo.
You know what I'm saying? And so like when she says we stayed together for 4 years, I was like, all right, so that wasn't really a long time,
You didn't even give it a
you
shot.
know. Yeah, like it doesn't feel like you even really kind of figured it out. Like me and Alice was like damn near like 9, 10 years in before we got married. So it's like, all right, if you could do 10 years with somebody, granted, that's a long time. They could be breaking up, but like this almost gives it new air by changing the title.
Right.
So it almost feels like, and nothing against her because they made the decision together, but it's like you didn't add context. It was only 4 years. You only talked about your growth. It almost feels like this was about you. And as soon as it didn't get as the way
Yeah.
you thought it would be, then it was
You
like I
bailed.
gotta find the nearest exit, especially because you glowed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because granted, if you needed him financially, you might be able to push through certain things, or
Hmm.
you might try to figure it out. And so that it kind of perturbed me, like, and it was equal between male and female in the replies, where it was like, it wasn't just like women were like applauding the shit, and it wasn't just like niggas was straight up commending it or condemning it rather,
Yeah.
but it was like yeah, I don't know. Like I think, man, I think if y'all gonna do that for real, like you said, like allow me to move forward, and maybe shit is off, and maybe they did exhaust their resources. I would probably say if it lasted 4 years, they probably didn't. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna guess, or maybe it wasn't right when y'all first let it like started, but still, like man, 4 years, and you're like done with wedding, like marriage forever.
bro.
Like after like that seemed like a pretty small experience.
It's
You
facts.
would have learned better. And so she's like, yeah, I wouldn't get married. It's like I just don't understand rich niggas saying that they don't want to get married. Like so, some irked me. Like when Diddy was on the Breakfast Club and he was like describing marriage with somebody, but he just wasn't getting. He didn't want to get married. It's like, so you okay with just cutting a check just because that's she gonna hold it down? But if the court say you guys split it up, then that's when it's like that's where you got a problem. If you want her to be straight forever, whether she with you or not, then why are you afraid of getting married? Like
What would be the
that sounds
yeah,
like the commitment there. I
and that's kind of, and I don't know if we talked about this, but
think this was prior.
there was a clip, and this is kind of in the weeds a little bit, but there was a clip about and this is kind of what Umar was alluding to, when he was talking about DC Young Fly, his shawty, unfortunately passed away, and
Yeah.
he was at the funeral, and somebody was just commenting on his remarks at the funeral, and it was like, well, if you actually cared about her, why wasn't she your wife? Y'all have kids together, y'all been together for X amount of years, like y'all have a family unit, and you didn't think enough of her to make that commitment. Um, and that's kind of really, but the there's just so much tied into, like, you can't. There's more paperwork that you have to do to add somebody to your insurance when they're not your spouse. There's more
Yeah.
paperwork you have to do to add somebody to your will when they're like, what I'm saying? Like, there's more red tape and things involved when people
When
are
just signing that marriage license automatically guarantees all that shit.
guarantees all of that. So it's just like, if you were really valuing this person, or if you really value what y'all have, then that seems like that would be the next logical steps. Um, I wrote down some tips.
Love it. Here we go.
Because
With something cool right there. Five tips. How many tips?
there's three
Three tips
three tips.
with not Patrick Hughes. So if in fact these tips don't work for you, it was not Patrick Hughes.
Bingo.
Mhm. But if it works, give all your love to there.
So, um, the first tip is just to be honest, right? Be honest about your desires, your expectations, and like your hard nose, your limitations, things that you feel like you can't do, things that you feel like is a bridge too far, or if this is just difficult for you to do. So, in any case, you feel like your life is trending another way, you want to make more money, uh, you're not happy in your situation, things like that, whatever it is, be honest with your spouse about it. This goes for both male and women, whatever type of, it's just good advice, period. Be honest about, these things that you have, your desires, your hopes, your dreams, and your limitations. That'll help everybody make better decisions, right? If everybody's committed to the union, the relationship, then it shouldn't be a problem with at least attempting to meet those expectations, right? So then the next step is to take everything personal, right? So not in the sense of like, oh, they be hate me, or they be don't like me for real, or nothing like that. Like in the sense of when athletes get drafted, like when they slide in the draft, and they're just like, y'all passed on me, bet I'm gonna prove you wrong.
I can name everybody that was drafted ahead of me.
Mm-hmm. So when your spouse gives you that feedback of like, I don't like when you do this, or I need you to step it up, don't take it and internalize it and be like, damn, what the fuck I'm doing wrong? You know what I'm saying? Take that and say, all right, I'm gonna rise to the occasion. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna, work on these things. And that's just what it boils down to. I think that's the type of things that we need. Instead of taking it personal in a negative way, take it personal. Use it as an opportunity to improve yourself as well. The best thing you can have is a partner that wants to see you excel, and wants to like do it. A person that's going to tell you that you need to step it up is not going to tell you that you need to step it up and just walk off. They're going to also help you, provide you with resources, help you along that journey, support you, understand when you slide, take a couple steps back. They're going to get it, right? Best case scenario here. All these are best case scenarios. And then the last tip would be to just keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Take everything one day at a time. Have a short term memory, like a quarterback throwing interceptions. Just take it one day, keep it pushing. Some negative happen, somebody tell you their truth. It's a hard truth. You don't like it. What you need to do is then take it personal. Figure out a way that you can actually improve on it. Chew up the meat, spit out the bones. If it's anything real there, get the nutrients and excrete the rest, and then keep it pushing. Don't harp on it and be like, oh well, remember when we talked about this and you felt like I was. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. It's not going to help what you got going on. It's not going to help you grow. It's not going to help either one of y'all. So the best thing you could do is those three things. Be honest. The things that you want to do with your life, the things that, because at the end of the day, when you marry somebody, y'all become one, but y'all still have your own separate, like, it's not like y'all
Yeah.
don't just automatically just, like we are one. Like, no, it's not a transformer situation where now you have to work towards that, which is also why it's weird that 4 years in, because it takes time. Um, I'm
You don't even
married.
really know each other for real, for real.
You really don't. I'm 3 years in, right? I'm 3 years in, and it is tough. Because this person is showing me parts of myself that I was running from, or things that I didn't, even acknowledge that she brought up, and it was just like you take it personally. But the
Yeah.
best thing that you can do with taking things personally is to, examine yourself, see if there's any truth to that, and move forward. And this is what I would say to anybody in any situation. It's just the best. It's just best practices. Like no religion involved. It don't matter what faith you practice. It don't matter really what type of union it is. If you are with somebody, the best thing to do. If somebody gives you an opportunity or expectation, something they want for you and want for their life, don't take that as a rejection of any sort. If anybody wants you to step it up, don't take that as a rejection. Take that as an opportunity to meet the expectation, to meet the desire. If somebody sees their life, I want to make six figures. You ain't making enough bread. I need you to be more ambitious, more blah, 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 blah. If you got to take more hours at work, I don't mind. If you got to do something, but I need you to at least, you have to try because these are the things. And that person also should, at the end of the day, I don't know. Everybody can make their own vows, but once you say "till death do you part," the only way really out of that, to me, outside of
In a
death,
box.
outside of a box, the only way out of that is you out here cheating and you messing up.
Yeah.
You're not holding down your responsibilities, or you out here being abusive.
Yeah.
Those are the only three options that I got for you. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to just bail, or if that person let you free, you know what I'm saying? When they be like, oh well, they turn into if they turn into a vegetable, I don't know. I don't know how to help you with that. But they have a tragic accident and they're able to set you free. I don't know if you're an asshole or not. If you say, all right, peace. but
Yeah.
but like it's complicated, and to give it, I'm not trying to disparage this woman, and I'm trying my best to not. Because it's so easy to, because it's just like
Yes, it's easy. Very easy.
you get yourself for it. Like that's not, people be married for the rest of, like, you get married and then you stay there for the rest of your life. People may stay married 60 years. There's no such thing as a successful marriage that ends in divorce. So, and these feelings aren't like, I guess, rare or unique. Everybody, at some points, you're gonna feel like you're leveling up. Some points, your spouse is gonna feel like they're leveling up, and everybody's gonna be wondering. This is what we talked about before, where it's like people don't understand what they're bringing to the table. When you split things down the middle, we all get it. Blah 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 blah. And not even necessarily just financially, but when y'all all take care of things together, then there is an understanding that, okay, well, we are taking care of things together. So then when somebody starts elevating, it shouldn't be a thing of, well, what you doing? Like,
It's like you make yourself useful in a way. Because to be fair,
exactly.
I think what also is easy for her to say is that depending on whether they have kids or not, but that's besides the point. Like she thinks that she got there by herself. And like
Mm-mm.
whether or not it was tangible in the way that you think it was, like your partner, that's why they be
There were
busting shit down
sacrifices
the
made.
middle. That's why they be busting shit down the middle. And I'm not so like when I was younger, I used to be like on some bullshit. But it's like, bruh, like your partner doing something that you may look at as small, like making sure that you don't have to worry about like thinking about food.
Yeah.
Like there's always a meal done. Like that to you may feel so insignificant because it's like, well, I'm gonna eat regardless. But you didn't have to like use an ounce of your brain power on that shit. You could literally focus on some whole other shit because you don't have to stop to think and get food
Mm-hmm.
or deal with shit like that. So like whether or not that person put a pen to the paper or twist a knob in the studio, like they were involved in that success. So they are useful in one way or another. So to be like, oh, they're not moving in the same direction. It's like, well, where the fuck am I moving? Like
I
we
thought
moving, we was a unit. Because if it was the other way around
when
and
he
the
get on, he
man
leave
was
your ass for a white
trending,
girl.
he's trending in the direction
Yeah,
and
no.
Shorty wasn't. Granted, I understand how the roles are traditionally. However, that would not fly. That would be a dub, you know. So,
Right.
yeah, yeah, it was a little upsetting. I will tell you this, ironically enough, and this is probably the perfect segue. Is Adam 22 a cuck?
he, I was surprised when he said that was the first time. I'm like
First time what?
that he allowed his shawty to.
Oh no, since they've been married.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
They just got married, I guess, last month.
So that was the first time since that he's allowed her to since they've been married.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was like
Oh no. Oh, I apologize. Boom. I apologize. That wasn't what it was. That was the first male.
that he's
I
let
apologize.
right. It's like the whole
Yeah,
time
because
it's just been
they were
they've
with
been doing
with
threesomes and
women.
he's been smashing. She's been just
Yeah,
getting like ain't out or whatever. But it's the first time she's been with a guy, right?
I believe so. Since they've been together.
It's crazy to me. I assumed he was already. I ain't.
Yeah,
I just
same. He seems really progressive.
I assumed he was already. I didn't think that he was
Yeah.
like no. Like, I didn't think like
Yo, Crip Mac
that's
was
my
tripping.
that's how I feel.
C Mac was like, nah, but I mean, you said no, right? I mean, I was like, oh, everybody was like, oh, you was cool with this? By the way, the video that she posted does not make it look better. It looked literally like whatever you could think of a white
Hey
woman
man,
and a
it's
black man
the
scene
trope.
would look like. It looked just like that.
It's a black guy.
Listen,
The
you,
tropes.
oh, so you didn't actually see it?
Hell
I think
nah. I don't.
think this.
I
I think
don't
this was actually for black.
no.
I think I think this was for black. So you already know what that
A behemoth.
you listen, Samson type shit. Like
Oh, some shit that Quentin Tarantino dreamed. It's like,
yes, in his nasty brain, what you would think a black scene would look like. And so the clip where
oh
she basically
God.
introduces what she did and who she did it with, like it was going around in my head. I was like, oh, but I didn't know they were married. I was like, oh yeah, that's just kind of how they, you know what I'm saying? That's how they give it up. But that's why they were laughing. And then I saw the clip and I was like, oh, now obviously Cuck is a little far, but maybe he is. I don't know. Whatever you're into.
He clearly not. He out here distraught.
Yeah. I mean, he was like on the fence. He was like, I mean, I felt a little way. Like, do you feel the way because it was him, or do you feel the way because it was a
Hey,
gentleman?
hey, then we got to go to Hell of a Life, and it's like, what do you say? So the price go down, she'll fuck a black guy, and it's
Or do anal, or do a
nah,
gangbang?
it's kind of crazy. It's all considered. Say now he looking
So,
at it. Now he looking at her wild like you fucking. Bro, I can't believe I married you. Like I can't believe this shit. It's like, oh, you're not that progressive, bro.
yeah,
You was
I,
cool
I
with the
would.
threesomes when they was your way.
I would be honest, man. I can't do it. I personally
Hell
couldn't
no.
do it. I'm sorry, not my queen. But I
Word.
will tell you this. Listen. this kind of the shit that y'all on. This is I was actually shocked
That's what I'm
that
saying. I thought,
like I accidentally clicked on some shit on Twitter. And so they was doing the podcast.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'm listening to the podcast. I recognize the face of this person, seen her movies. And then it turned into the movie. And I was like, wait, hold on, what's going on here? I thought this was a podcast clip.
Blew my mind.
And now this is something else. And
Hey,
now I'm
man.
like, I'm on Twitter. So I'm like, oh, this should be safe to some extent for work. It didn't for very long. And
Hey,
yeah, so
man.
I was like, oh, that's how they get down. So
Shout out to
you
them
you
people, man.
you had to think it was coming soon, right? If it didn't happen, it's like she's gonna
That's
ask.
a double entendre.
Hey. And I always think about the first thing I thought about was it was that LeBron clip where he's like crying at the Olympics and it says your girl's a porn star and she tells you that you had a good day at work. And it's LeBron crying and it says on the bottom, it's like, bitch, get out my house.
Oh
Because she
man,
had a great day at work. But
shit, bro.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
that's the part that like either God's not done with me or I'm just never going to be
no,
progressive enough
it's not happening.
to do that. To be honest, why do you like,
I've
I would be,
amended the way I think. I've amended my desires
yeah, I
because
would
of
be
what I will not allow her to have to. No, not happening.
yeah, just even thinking like you to ask,
I'm about to throw up.
like, yeah, them doing that is different. Them doing that, like her asking, is like almost feels like par for the course. If my queen asks, I'd be like, what?
Mm-mm,
Is this a serious question?
mm-mm.
Where's the cameras at?
Therapy
What are we
immediately.
talking about?
Therapy
Yeah,
immediately. It's no
what are we
more. No,
talking?
no. We got to go see somebody. It's not no
Yeah,
online.
we
Not
gotta
no
see the
app.
lady.
No,
We gotta see the
we
lady.
got to go see the lady.
Okay,
Um, real.
let's see.
Do we have enough time?
Yeah, because
Oh,
we've been pushing a little bit longer. Honestly, at this point, we can go a little bit just because you guys are used to us by a little bit. What's a little extra 10 minutes? What were you about to go with? I know you're going
um,
somewhere.
I
More
was.
family shit.
Oh no, I was going Supreme. I was going Supreme Court, but well,
Oh yeah, the rulings are tomorrow.
yeah, we got rulers
We'll get
tomorrow.
some info tomorrow. This is a big deal, guys. I know a lot of times you guys talk about how voting doesn't work and stuff like that, but look, lifetime appointments. We got some fuck them niggas in. They're trying to get rid of affirmative action. Just listen to me, guys. I understand that y'all think y'all are going to get everything on your merit, but what if you don't even get the interview?
Yeah,
Like affirmative action gives you the opportunity to get the interview. I know you want to legislate whether or not people will even give you the opportunity, and I get it. It does suck that the world can't be better, but you could just not get the job at all. I
yeah.
don't give a damn how you hire me. Just keep me there.
I think it was a stat from what it was. It was a school in California. I think it's UC Berkeley. I don't know what school it is specifically, but it was like um they did away with affirmative action.
And
Um,
their campus, yeah, the demographics of the campus,
dropped like
yeah,
like black admission was like dropped like 50%. 50% from like 3%. Like it
yeah,
already wasn't no black people on campus. So now if the total, with affirmative action is 3% of black people on campus, no affirmative action is 1.5% of black people. Like this, guys, seriously. It's very important. There's kind of nothing we can do about it now, but this is why we talk about voting and everything like that. Just because it's super important, even if it's not nothing that you can tangibly feel immediately. Um, these are people that were appointed by Trump. So it's not
he
something
did his
that you
work.
feel immediately, but down the line, because they are lifetime appointments and because of the way politics works, you will feel it. So don't look for these instant things when you do go out and vote, because we did. We delivered the House, the Senate, and the presidency last term. We have to do it again and again and again, and it never stops.
Nope.
And the more you're involved, and the more you go out, and the more you let your voice be heard by way of the ballot box, and also you can call your senator and let them know how you actually feel about stuff. That works too.
Yeah.
On a state and federal level, and city level, city government also. we can get things done if we continue to vote. There are a large swath of the country that does not vote at all still, even though we
Yeah.
had record turnouts. We need everybody to go out and vote uh, for stuff like
LGBTQ,
this. So
they're
then,
trying to get
yeah.
rid of that.
So then we do. Then the LGBTQ ruling is, and people don't think much of this because it's a freedom of speech, freedom of religion situation. There's a Christian um, graphic designer, web designer, who won't design a website for, I guess, a gay couple or gay business. I don't know what it is. Somebody gay wanted some work. Somebody Christian said no, and now it's going up. The reason that this is important, whether you agree with the plight or whatever bullshit you on, the reason that this is important is because if you allow people to discriminate based on sex or sexual orientation, race is on that too.
Yeah,
So
it's next. It's next. Religion's on there.
yeah,
That's
it's
there's
all like
that.
all of those things. They're lumped together. When in law, they're lumped together. So that's just what it is. So if this ruling does not go the way that it's supposed to go, people can tell your black ass that you are a son of Ham, and this is against my religion, and I can't uh, do any business with you because you are a cursed child of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, and this is no bullshit. This is actually what people in Utah believe. So, and I don't know, guys. This is why it's so important to vote, even when things don't go our way, even when we don't necessarily win the election. This is why it's important to let your voice be heard, because all this shit affects us. This is why it's not. It's why we don't laugh at certain jokes. This is why, even if it's funny, this is why you don't let nobody see you laugh, or you say, you know what, it was good, but yeah, I don't like this, because it has ramifications in the way that we think. If you are making light of these people's plight, and when things like this come up, people are easy to dismiss it, not knowing how it actually affects them. So, that's one of the things that's on the docket. It's like one more thing on there.
Voting rights.
The voting rights was actually, that was already announced, I think, early this week, and they actually voted in a way that's favorable for democracy. But the reason they did that is so they still, it was gonna they maintained the control. What it was I forgot what state it was. I think like one of the Carolinas was basically put forth a legislation or a theory that uh, basically the laws will be kicked out to state. The elections will be kicked out to the states. So states will be able to certify their own uh, winner for the elections. That's
Which
a
is
no
next.
go, because how many states would have certified Trump if they were actually allowed to under the law? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here we go again. So now they went ahead and they didn't approve that. So that's good, because it's like one of those things where it's like where they say, well, what happened when we lose power? Basically, it's like we got to kind of, come on, y'all. Y'all not thinking all the way through. So yeah, it's just one of those things, guys. Just pay attention. Um, we're just trying to help y'all be better citizens. Just informed. So it's kind of nothing you can do about it currently, because these people are already in lifetime appointments. But Trump put through, in his one term, Trump put through, I think, like 30 or 40 federal
The
life,
three on the Supreme. Yeah.
three on the three on the Supreme.
Yeah. But like, yeah, a bunch.
One like the last month of his, like, he was already not president, and he put one through.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, this is these are the, if there are any hidden reasons why people tell you to vote and they don't like fully explain it, this is one of them. So this is why we need to make sure that we are going out and letting our voice be heard at that ballot box.
Also, a couple other things. Just think about, like, when you want to go against the grain for whatever reason, just think about the people that are trying to make it difficult for you to speak.
Mhm.
Like, make it difficult. Like, maybe you don't feel like you should have to vote, but there is a group of people that actually are trying to make you not vote. So just think about why that group
Bingo.
of people would actually really not give a fuck. Like, it's your civic duty. This is the rights that your forefathers died for, Like, and then if you look like me, other people died for like, and then not to go all corny and cheesy and say, well, these people died for you to vote, but just think about why they wouldn't want you to vote. Why a certain group of people want to make it difficult
Exactly.
for you
No,
because they
perfect.
don't actually want you to speak. And then on top of that, biggest thing you could do because it's going to come down, just avoid the bad faith actors. They're going to be there. They're going to be there. They're going to be sitting. They're waiting for it. If something bad happens, you're going to see it. Just try to not fold under that pressure because Twitter probably will be a madhouse. So
Absolutely.
it's going to be a lot of people that don't give a fuck whether or not these particular groups of people live or die, or that you ever get to vote for things that you want to vote for and things that matter to you. Even if it's something small, like you want weed to come to your state legally, like the same group of people that are stopping you from voting and that don't give a fuck about you voting, and the same people that are trying to repeal all these things that have been in place, they also don't want you to smoke weed too. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, granted, that's a very small thing, but it's like, yeah, these are the same people. And if you just dismiss that, granted, you already been living how you live in, you don't really care too much about the law. But like, realistically speaking, this could be the difference between like a slap on the wrist and like actual jail time because
Yeah.
they about to start
Or
putting in some bullshit
or life or
that
death.
makes,
Or life
yeah,
or
or
death.
life or
You know
death,
what I'm
or
saying?
they gonna put it because you get pulled over for a little bag of weed. It's like, bruh, this shit could be legal, and they just gotta let you. In LA, you can smoke right outside of the fucking dispensary, which
Amazing.
just feels like, nigga, what?
What
As
am
a
I doing?
black person, it looks wild.
Yeah.
So if you want to be able to do these things and stay with your family and shit like that, listen, that's whatever brings you there. Listen, but please just do those things at least because the shit getting wicked. Like it's getting wicked.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so like you said, nothing we could do a whole lot about it, but I mean, or at least it doesn't feel like you can, but I think it works. I think it will work and they're spooked, by the way.
Which
Because
is
of
why all of this is happening.
yeah,
Which is
yeah,
why like
because
good.
they didn't have the red wave that they thought they were
Yeah.
supposed to have. And a lot of people that are running under Trump Republicans are losing.
And
So
that's the
if you think
thing.
your voice is not being heard, it is. We're getting them niggas out the way.
That's the thing that I think once again to reiterate that point, guys. These people are banning books. They're banning books. They're banning what you're able to teach. They're banning like actual like they're banning literal history. Um, the ways that you can teach it, the methods that the things that you can bring into the classroom, they are like penalizing all of that. Um, so it's not a game. It's not just on some. They ain't gonna do nothing for us, no way. Well, we know that you put your kid in front of the TV and you don't really do too much enrichment at the house, and you're expecting them to get it all from the classroom. They're taking that away. So that little bit of Black history we got in school is gone. So that's the type of things you got to think about. This thing does not only affect how much money you make, guys. It's not only the inflation, the interest rates, the blah 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 blah, the gas, all this shit that they throw at you to make you be like, oh well, I did feel a change in the groceries. Like, bruh, it's the least of your worries. So just take all that into consideration. We'll do our best here to keep you up to date with all of that. And
Yeah,
that's that's pretty much all I had to say about the Supreme. I just wanted to make sure we got to it because it's like I know next week they'll be here, and then we can talk
yeah,
about that again.
literally, yeah.
um,
So I guess that concludes the week.
yes, sir.
Week 16. That's 4 weeks in. Glad you guys are interacting. I saw a few people message me about how they like whatever. So
Yes,
hopefully you guys are actually listening and trying to get a little bit of the blind spots out of it. Um, at Bobby Bronze, not Patrick Hughes. Another week, and
yes,
we'll
sir.
be back next week.
Yeah, that's all I got.